It's the end of an era, and honestly, I'm kind of sad to see it go. Hey guys, what's up? It's imuRgency and welcome back to my channel. Today we are here and we are talking about the series finale, the final season, season 4 of Never Have I Ever. And I just want to say right off the bat that I am a little sad to be making this video because if you have been following this channel, or at least have been following the Never Have I Ever series that I have on this channel, you know that I have been with this show. We have been with this show for multiple years now. I feel like at least once a year we all come together and we talk about Never Have I Ever, and it is officially coming to an end, which is very sad. I have a lot of thoughts. This season was a lot of things, but overall I think that it ended very interestingly. And we're gonna get into that. But before we do, if you're new to the channel and like all things TV, pop culture, commentary, fashion, and tier lists, make sure to subscribe because we post videos here every single week. I actually just posted a video talking about The Idol and about all the drama with that show and with Sam Levinson, the creator of Euphoria. So if that sounds interesting to you, you should go check that out. And again, subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of the content that I have coming out here. Also, it means so much if you left a like on this video because it helps out so much with the YouTube algorithm. And you can follow me on all my socials here at imuRgency on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. But enough promo, let's talk about this final season. So I feel like this season did a lot of things. Like I felt like while I was watching these 10 episodes that so much was going on, and I'm not sure if it's because there was genuinely a lot going on or if I just am so not used to having shows have 10 episode seasons anymore. But this season felt really long. And that's really shocking because yeah, it's 10 episodes, but each episode is like only 30 minutes. So I'm like, what's going on here? I feel like each episode is jam-packed with information, jam-packed with things going on, and I feel like they do a really great job of pacing themselves and making sure that everyone, or at least most characters, got some form of closure and some form of development this season. Although there are some that were really left out to dry, which we'll talk about later. But this was Davy and the crew's senior year, their final year of high school, and they really went out with a bang. We had new characters introduced like Ethan, Margot, and Lindsay Thompson, who all added so much to a show that was coming to an end. And I'm really happy that they were included because I feel like they all added a different dynamic to the show. I'm going to focus, you already know. You already know. I'm going to focus on Ethan for the time being because Michael Cimino. I don't know why you'd be watching this, but if you are watching this, please, I am right here, ready and waiting. Because we all know Michael Cimino from Love, Victor, right? And Love, Victor was giving very much like good boy, very much like put together baby gay, like he is trying to navigate his life. And for some reason is in love with this white boy, he treats him terribly. Never have I ever, Michael Cimino. That's something a little different. There's a little curl. A little curl to the hair, a little change to the aesthetic. But yeah, Michael Cimino as Ethan eats. I'm standing 10 toes down in that. Like I am obsessed and I really love seeing Ethan's character. He really is the epitome of like bad boy with like a soft interior, and just seeing how he and Davy built their relationship and how Davy was sort of the dominant one in the relationship, I was kind of living for. Like, of course it wasn't gonna work out long term because, you know, Ethan is Ethan. I'm just a little upset that once they actually, spoiler alert, if you have not seen the season, like there's just going to be spoilers for plot points. So you might want to watch the season first and then come back here. Or if you have no intentions of watching Never Have I Ever season 4, all right, continue on. But once they eventually break up, I was just so upset that like he just disappeared. Because I feel like usually with exes in Never Have I Ever, they like stick around, you know? It's giving very much that Michael was on a contract, he had a certain episode quota, and after that he was gone. Because after they broke up, he was gone. Which is so interesting because they keep mentioning like the Hot Pocket, like the younger Hot Pocket, which he was supposed to be a part of, and then suddenly once Davy broke up with him, he just disappeared. I'm a little upset about that. I would have loved to see him, especially I would have loved to see a cameo in the last episode, at least a little bit more, because it feels like for the first half of the season, it really is focused on Ethan, or not focused on Ethan, but he has a heavy role in the season, and then after they break up, he just disappears, which is really upsetting because I feel like he could have contributed a little bit more. But before I get into some of the other characters, I feel like the one character we really need to talk about this season was Davy. Davy really just came into herself this season. Of course, it was the final season of the series, so I'd hope that they'd sort of develop Davy, but I was just so proud of her, because if you've seen my previous reviews, you know that I found Debbie very annoying. Like, I love her down. She would be getting into the wildest situations just because of her own actions. And I just love seeing that season after season after season, she'd get better and better and better. And I think that's just great continuity and great storytelling over a span of the series. Like, this season we have the least amount of crazy Debbie. And the parts where she does get a little wild and off the hinges is never as bad as previous seasons. Like, she has a much better time regulating herself and approaching situations a little bit more logically, and I just love seeing that for her. And I really just need to emphasize the importance of the representation of mental health in this show, because I feel like this show does not get its flowers as much as it should in terms of just how mental health is represented, because I feel like usually in shows we see characters have like a breakdown, they have something traumatic happen in their lives, and then they have like this therapy arc that like lasts maybe like a couple episodes, and then suddenly they're cured, they're fine, they can see the world clearly now, like they've officially become a healed person, and they never go back on any of their issues from before, which is extremely unrealistic and just not how mental health and how therapy works. But Never Have I Ever does such a great job, not only naturally incorporating therapy, but also tackling trauma, drama, coming of age issues, family issues, all in a relatively healthy and stable way over the course of 4 seasons. Like, we see Debbie go through 4 full years of therapy, at least, and we see her healing process throughout have highs and lows, and her going back and forth between those. And there's a really beautiful and powerful and impactful scene in episode 9 of this season where her therapist actually acknowledges that growth and has this really emotional and heartfelt moment where Debbie is just really at her lowest after being rejected from all of her schools, where she just acknowledges how far Debbie has come from like the beginning of season 1. And like, as a viewer, yeah, you felt that. Like, I was feeling emotional watching that scene, because yeah, Debbie has come so far from where we've seen her in season 1, where she was an absolute brat, an absolute menace, to where she is today, where she is becoming an adult. She is becoming the person that she is in this moment. And honestly, it's hard to not just be proud of Debbie for prioritizing her own mental health and really expressing that message of mental health and therapy and healing as a woman of color. And in the spirit of talking about prioritizing mental health, it makes me so happy to introduce this video sponsor, BetterHelp. Personally, I've been in therapy for years now, which has helped me a lot with my different life transitions, and has really helped me navigate some of those harder things that come up in life, whether it be things that have happened in the past or things that are currently happening, or, you know, sometimes worries about the future. And I feel like it's always great to have a professional to talk to, even if you're not currently in a state of crisis, so that when life comes at you, you have tools at your disposal to help you manage. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists that can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just need to answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can help match you with the right therapist from the network. From there, you can talk to your therapist however you're comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. And you can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions whenever it's convenient for you. And if your therapist isn't a right fit for whatever reason, you can switch out to a new therapist at no additional cost. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect with in-office therapy, but with a therapist that's custom picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. You can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/emergency. That's betterhelp.com/emergency. Oh, and I've also linked them down in the description below if you want to check that out. Thanks again, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into Never Have I Ever. And for Eleanor having that epiphany about her mom and not living in her shadow and instead like elevating herself and really living in her truth, which is really inspiring, and I'm just so glad that she got the ending that she deserves. Although I will say she is cute with Trent. I'm just a little shocked that they ended up together. Like, that felt a little gaggish to me. But you know, to each their own. Everyone ends up with somebody. And speaking of ending up with somebody, we need to have a chat. We need to talk just for a second. What is the room's opinion on how Debbie's love life ended? Because I know we started off this season with her having her one free boink with Ben Gross, which still to this day, I don't understand why they went down that route of having Ben be the love interest. And we continuously are reminded that Ben was really the worst option. No, I won't say that. Ben was the least appealing option for Debbie, and all the characters acknowledge this. I'm just really shocked that that was who was endgame. Like, I really was rooting against Ben. Like of course, Paxton was no longer an option because Paxton became a teacher. Paxton was really just chilling on their own, and Paxton and Debbie's friendship was honestly more iconic than their relationship. Ethan really wasn't there for long term. I just wish that Davy really just fell in love with herself and was by herself by the end of the season, or by the end of the series, because I don't know how I feel about her ending up with Ben. Like, I'll be honest. I'll just say this. I don't like it. I don't find it cute. And I feel like it's very on theme for our other Mindy Kaling shows. I'll say that there are other videos where we've talked about the Mindy Kaling effect in terms of how she presents her brown love interests, and just really her love interests of color who usually are women, and who they end up falling for, who tend to be. But I mean, in this case, I will say, as opposed to other instances, like with the Sex Lives of College Girls, Ben and Davy do actually have chemistry, and it makes sense why they're together. It just kind of disappoints me that they did end up together, because I feel like, really? Like, I'm sorry, but they're still not it for me. Like, if there's a college spinoff of Davy's years in college and navigating that, I would love to see it, but I would hope that she has epiphany where she breaks that off, like within her first semester, and they do the whole like, oh, don't bring your high school boyfriend to college trope, because Davy needs a new love interest. Davy needs someone else. But while we're talking about characters, let's talk about someone who was snubbed, and who I don't think a lot of people are talking about, but it's very upsetting to me that she got this sort of treatment in the season, and I don't know what was going on behind the scenes or what the real issue was. But Anissa probably had a total of like 10 lines this entire season, if even that. I'm just really confused, because Anissa was set up to be such an important character and such an addition to the group. She was supposed to be like the fourth after all the drama with Ben, but really she just got slated to less than a side character. Like, she had less lines than Trent. She had less lines than Ethan. She even had less lines than that one white boy with glasses that Paxton was teaching to swim in. I really just don't get that. Like, where was Anissa? Because Anissa honestly was one of my favorite characters. Like she was in my top 3 favorite characters of this show. And it was just really upsetting that this final season, she was kind of just put in the back burner. Like, I don't even think we know where she's going to school. Like, we know that she got recruited to a school for sports. We don't know what school. I just overall think that Anissa was snubbed, and I was just hoping that we get more from her in this last season, but we really just didn't. And again, I don't know if there was something going on with her contracts, or if her actor was busy on another project, or just what was going on. We didn't get any more Anissa than we did in season 3, which is really upsetting. But yeah, I guess that was kind of disappointing for me. But overall, I feel like the season was just really good. I feel like it was a really thoughtful end to such an amazing and important series. Like, the show has been such a hit, and each season really has felt intentional and didn't feel like it was unnecessary at any point. And I just really love seeing the continuous and intentional storytelling of each character and each plot point as the show went on. Like, for example, the ongoing relationship with Davy and her mom. So well done and so beautiful. Their scenes always make me tear up when I'm watching. They always tend to come at the end of each season, but each season they get me so bad, because their relationship is so interesting and so dynamic, because you can really just tell how much they care for each other, and especially how much Davy's mom, Nalini, cares for Davy and wants the best for Davy, but has also been dealing with her own trauma, her own issues with losing her husband, being a single mom, and having a daughter like Davy, and just seeing them fight and then also come together, but just truly be there as a unit. Just so impactful, so beautiful, and I'm just happy to see it every single time. And I was noticing this more so this season than ever. It was just so nice to see this representation of a matriarchal household. Like, Davy's house was filled with powerful and charismatic women, and just seeing the different generations of women in that household and how they'd interact, and how just thinking about representation wise, how cool that is to have in a show, like a popular mainstream Netflix show that has multiple scenes focused around 4 brown women. It's just so beautiful to see. And this show is really gonna be a statement of its time. I hope that this isn't the last time we see a show like this, to this level and caliber, on a streaming service. I mean, with the writer strike going on right now, it might be a little minute until we get something good. But like, I hope that eventually we get another show like this that really challenges the status quo and pushes for something that could be as amazing as Never Have I Ever is. So having such a diverse cast, both racially, ethnically, and also age-wise, like when you think about it, this show has so many different age groups. Like, I feel like generally when it comes to Gen Z shows, most of the characters are in their 20s, are in their teens, so like maybe mid-30s. But the show does a great job of incorporating more seasoned older talent in this show, like with Davy's grandmother, her boyfriend, some of the teachers being really involved. It's just really been such a great ride, and I've had so much fun watching this show. And I really just keep going back to like the endings. Like, I just love how intentional this show is. Like with Paxton, can we talk about Paxton for a second? Paxton's whole arc from this entire show, but especially this season of him like really coming to terms with himself, because I feel like I was mentioning in last season's review that I feel like Paxton's arc wasn't completely finished. Like it was a cool moment, but I wasn't really sure how he would be incorporated into season 4. They did a phenomenal job of taking what I thought was like a near complete character and really just fleshing him out even more. Really having him come to terms with himself, of like having to beat his ego of being like the high school jock, being the high school it boy, and realizing like, you know, for the rest of the world outside of his hometown, he really isn't all that. Have him push through that, become a better person, and really emphasize not giving up and becoming a true adult. Beautiful. And having him end up with Lindsay, Miss Thompson, beautiful. Beautiful. I could not have done it better myself. Like that, I loved his arc. I love seeing where he went as a character, and I love seeing where he's going now. And I'm just obsessed. I really am obsessed. I have so many feelings about the show. I'm so sad that it's over, but it really was a gem of its time, and I hope that we at least get a spin-off or something to really push the story forward into the college years and give that college representation a try, because like I've said in previous videos, you should go check those out. We need more Gen Z college shows without a white love interest. I give this season a solid 8.5 out of 10, maybe even a 9. I really enjoyed watching the season, and the series as a whole, have to give it a solid 9 because it was a ride through and through. It brought us through so many different emotions. There were so many iconic moments from this show, and I just love it. But now I want to hear from you. What did you think about Never Have I Ever season 4 and Never Have I Ever the series? Did you enjoy the season? Did you not like the season? Did you like who Davey ended up with? Did you like who everyone ended up with? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you're new to the channel, you can hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video because it helps out so much, and follow me on my socials at imuRgency. Also, don't forget that you can click the link in my description to get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp at betterhelp.com/emergency. That's betterhelp.com/emergency. But other than that, y'all, I've been imuRgency, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.